A man served his country, but then had to fight the federal government for the recognition he and many others deserved. He didn't win all the arguments, but he did have the last word. Throughout history, soldiers fight America's wars big and small, and beyond battling tanks and bombers, they face a silent enemy within their own ranks, their own borders.
You had to be very, very careful. We gave our blood, sweat, and tears for the greatest nation on earth, the United States of America.
Stanley Jędrzejczyk is born in a labor camp in Poland.
The Germans needed forced labor, slave labor. They needed people to work in the factories because the young German men were all in the army. And so they grabbed people who were fairly young and healthy.
One of them is his mother. In the camp, his mother is killed, but it's not clear how. Another couple that meets in the labor camp adopts him and sends him on a ship across the Atlantic to America, where they have a relative living in Chicago.
I became a U.S. citizen to join the Armed Forces. I came up to the United States on a ship, and I said, I'm going to get back onto a ship. Well, this is me in Panama.
He serves in the Navy transporting Marines to Cuba in 1967. During his 4 years in service, he maintains a secret.
Well, now you're asking an old man a question. It was different, let's just say, in those days, being gay and being in the armed forces. You had to be very, very careful. They would drag people off base and off ships and give you a dishonorable discharge very quickly.
Now he proudly wears a patch on his hat, a pink triangle, a sign of how much attitudes have changed.
And that's to denote what the German people made LGBTQ people wear in the camps to show that they were gay.
It's not as if prisoners are volunteering their sexuality. The Nazis designate pink patches to anyone they suspect of being gay in an attempt to dehumanize them. In 1871, Germany makes homosexuality illegal, but officials rarely enforce it until the Nazis take over in 1933. Their mission? To purify Germany. Experts estimate 100,000 gay men are arrested, many placed in concentration camps.
Stigma is always them and us. It is people looking at someone else with a different viewpoint and different eyes. Most of the veterans are.
In the 1970s, the same pink patch becomes a symbol of liberation, and today, a symbol of sacrifice.
So why do you wear it?
We wear it to remember our brothers and sisters who are laying in the ground of Germany to this day, forgotten. We won't forget.
Jędrzejczyk pushes for a memorial for gay and lesbian servicemen and women.
It was very important that people understood that LGBTQ people fought and died for this nation, for the love of this great country, as I have.
After 5 years, the federal government agrees. But Jędrzejczyk is not satisfied. He wants these words on the memorial.
The wording was from the beginning of this nation. I think it bothered them that there was not enough evidence for the fact that there were LGBTQ people.
Without documentation, the military would not budge from its position. 6 months later, Stanley Jędrzejczyk concedes defeat on the wording, and in 2015, The memorial becomes the first federally approved monument honoring LGBTQ veterans. It sits in Lincoln National Cemetery, 50 miles south of Chicago in Elwood, Illinois.
The difficulty was 5.5 years, sir. They gave us a lot of difficulty. We fought. I'll use the word fought again for this monument. Those are our words on that monument. The colors, 2 pink stones and 1 black stone, is our design.
So you're a bit of a pioneer. I mean, this is history.
The American Veterans for Equal Rights are the pioneers. And there is no I here. When you're in the service, you work with the men and women now, thank God, together.
When Stanley Yenchek's adoptive parents died, he researches his birth mother and finds relatives who give him this picture of the mother he never knew.
She came from a farming family, so you can't put yourself to other people's mindset about how they feel about things. I'm sure it would be very difficult for her, but I am her son.
He meets his partner Matt at St. Sebastian Church. After 36 years together, Matt dies in 2009.
I spent 36 short years with an angel by the name of Matthew Thomas Lind. I was very lucky. You could see that pink triangle from a distance.
Their monument bears 6 emblems: Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Merchant Marines, Coast Guard, and Air Force.
You don't hear any traffic or any noise.
Stanley Yenchek is very active. He belongs to the group American Veterans for Equal Rights. He volunteers, spending time with the elderly. But a stubborn streak motivates him to commission another memorial that now sits at Halsted and Addison, which includes the words that the military refuses to accept. Starting with the birth of this nation, gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered people have served honorably and admirably in America's armed forces. After years of silence, Stanley Yenchek gets the final word: to speak for those who cannot.
As I walked here and look upon this monument, I feel proud and honored to be on this hallowed ground.
Coming up on Backstory. In the WGN time capsule, why are these kids dressed like monkeys?